And proceed. Good afternoon. My name is Patricia Gerling, and I'd like to welcome all of our nonprofit participants and users to our Zoom webinar today. We're going to be focusing in on social media. We've got two panelists that are going to be providing you with some insights and more information so that you can make the most of your Giving Day campaign. First off, we are going to be hearing from Nicole Morton with Water to Wine Productions, and I'm going to let her do a little bit of introduction of who she is and her background before she starts. She's going to be focusing in on creating intentional impact with social media, and that is, you know, the guide to getting noticed during this global pandemic. It's a very informative presentation. Her PowerPoint will also be available on the Brazos Valley Gives website at the conclusion of this. So I think you're going to find some powerful messages there. And so you can always go back and review and get a little primer on everything that she's going to share. After Nicole, then we're going to invite Tucker, you may know him as Frito Young from Brian Broadcasting, to join us. Frito is Director of Programming and Operations and also an on-air personality, as everyone's heard of Frito. But Brian Broadcasting is one of our media sponsors, along with Water to Wine. We couldn't have done this without them. And Frito is going to be sharing a unique opportunity for all 136 of our participating nonprofits to amplify your message. Nicole's going to talk about social media amplification, and then we're going to take that to another level as well, and that is an invitation from Brian Broadcasting to join in amplifying each nonprofit as well. So without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Nicole. I'm going to be watching the chat and the Q&A, so if you are having issues either seeing the presentation or hearing, just put a note in the chat or in the Q&A. I'll be watching that. At the conclusion of Nicole's presentation, we'll make a brief stop and answer any questions that you may have, or we'll bring up some comments that people have shared. And then after that short Q&A, then we'll bounce it over to Frito for him to share the good news of what Brian Broadcasting is going to be doing with this. So Nicole, take it away.
Thank you, Patricia.
Okay.
All right. I just wanted to make sure that everybody can hear me okay. All right, excellent. My name is Nicole Morton, and I am so thrilled to be on this webinar and just very grateful for Patricia and her efforts with this incredible event. And it's nice to live in the Brazos Valley when you have folks like Patricia that really care. And I'm excited to share a lot of the tools that I've learned in my tenure as a news reporter, as a PR individual who helps companies, whether it's from crisis management to helping them get coverage on the news, to social media management, video production, photography, you name it. So I hope that all the tools that I share with you today, you'll be able to not only implement on the 27th, but I hope that you can use all of these tools, for the rest of your social media career, if you will, or endeavor. I wanted to take a couple minutes before, I was a news reporter before I started Water to Wine Productions. And so a lot of what I did every day was I had to create something out of nothing. And so that kind of goes hand in hand with what I do every day at Water to Wine. And so my late news director, Mike George, once told me, well, he told me every day actually, we'd have to come to work every day with a story, and we'd literally have to turn a story for the 6 o'clock news. And he'd say, Nicole, go turn water to wine. And so I hope that with the message that I send today, you can go turn water to wine with, some platforms that you perhaps might not have been too keen or familiar on before. And so before you know it, you're going to be a pro. So I'm going to stop talking and start, getting to work. So I'm going to share my screen real quick so that you can see all of these incredible tools that we've got. And all right. And again, I want you guys to, we've got a lot to cover in 45 minutes. So I want y'all to jot down questions that you've got, and also perhaps the slide number, so that we can have a Q&A session after the presentation is over. So feel free to ask away. That's what I'm here for. And of course, if you have questions later on tonight, you can email me, no problem at all. So we're gonna go over the game plan real quick. So a lot of the things that we're gonna discuss today happen to talk about your strategy with social media. First things first is you have to have a marketing strategy. You can have all the tools in your toolbox, but if you don't know how to use them, they're useless. So I want to help you guys identify your mission. I want to help you learn how to tell your story better, efficiently and effectively. And I want to help you get in front of the right folks so that you guys can really maximize your exposure and visibility when it comes to what we all hope in the end is maximizing our fundraising efforts. So let's talk about the strategy. So what is your nonprofit hoping to achieve through social media? Every single client of mine says, I hate social media. I don't know how to use it. I don't know what to do. I don't even TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, their analytics and their algorithms, they change daily. So I just am pulling my hair out. So will you please do it for me? You don't have to have $1 million budget, or even a huge budget, or even a budget at all to do what I'm telling you to do. You can do all of these things by yourself, which is the greatest thing. So what are your goals? Was it educating? Is it fundraising? Is it networking? I want you guys to answer these questions because it'll help you kick off your Facebook strategy or your Instagram strategy, whichever platform you guys decide to use. It'll help you become organized. So identifying your goal is critical. Once you've identified your strategy, identify your goal and think about your brand consistency and cohesiveness. What does that mean? It means a lot when it comes to branding. When you think of Johnson & Johnson, when you think of, a roofing company, or if you have a jingle that you just automatically think about, those are the things that you want folks to remember. Oh, I remember that about this organization. So also, how will your social accounts jive with the rest of your organization and all of your marketing strategies? Everything has to be in line, it has to be cohesive, and it has to be consistent. Those are really the main things, and it has to reflect the same style, the language, and the aesthetic. So whenever someone goes to your Facebook page, your Instagram needs to reflect the same kind of content, the same kind of language, the images, and just the style overall, so that when they see a particular color, when they smell a certain smell, you want those folks to be like, that's so-and-so. And when you think of smell, it's like, oh, is that really possible? But it is. It all leads back to your senses and, of course, your emotions. And so it doesn't take a village to run all of your social networks, but it does take your loyal villagers to make your strategy run well, like a well-oiled machine. So decide who's going to run your nonprofit accounts, whether that be the person or several people, like interns or marketing folks. You want to put people in those positions that are truly passionate about it and that they actually enjoy it. Because if you put someone in that position that doesn't like to be in front of the camera, that isn't, an eloquent writer or speaker, they're not going to enjoy it. And so you won't get a good return out of it. Engaging, responding, and just commenting to messages, comments is hugely critical as well, because it all goes back to your engagement. The the main thing that you want to do on social media is make sure that you are engaging, whether that be commenting, posting a really neat video, and just kind of humanizing the social experience. Identifying your audience is pretty critical too. That's another step. What are their passions? What are their interests and motivations? What causes them to stop scrolling? I know a lot of us will scroll on our cell phones, and you find something that makes you stop scrolling. That is your whole mission on social media. You want people to stop scrolling. And so we'll discuss this more as the presentation goes on, but what story, more importantly, are you trying to tell, and what's your core message of your nonprofit organization? Finding all of these things out will completely help you streamline your process. So prioritizing your social networks is super important. The key word here is active. So you can have a LinkedIn, a Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, you can have 15 different social networks, but if you only use, one or two, make sure they're all cohesive, okay? I say the more the better, because it helps with your SEO and your Google Analytics, and it allows you to be seen. But if you're not, a TikTok type of person, then you don't have to be on TikTok to be number one, okay? Go where your supporters are. If your supporters are not using TikTok, then don't use TikTok. I say Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram are fantastic platforms to start with. So this year, with the pandemic, everyone just across the country is feeling just the effect. And so a lot of people that I've spoke to, clients including, they're saying, gosh, Nicole, we're struggling. We're trying to stay afloat, and I don't know how we're going to raise money. And I feel awkward asking people right now for money. And I say, this is a fantastic time to ask people for money. You have to have a story though. You have to have a human connection with folks in order to really, really connect. And I think that people right now more than ever, especially being, with a shelter in place and just kind of in our homes and not seeing people more than ever now, we as humans are just craving connectivity. And so we need to tell stories that involve people. Even if your organization is about animals, or if it's about something that doesn't involve people per se, find a reason or find just an avenue or a path so that you can tell the story through a person, because we connect with people emotionally more than ever. So I'm a big fan of personal brand and just leveraging yourself as a marketing vehicle for your nonprofit. So that's what you guys are going to do. And so a really neat thing that I came across, a stat that I came across this week, was 18% of donors worldwide have given through Facebook fundraising tools. And I've actually got a client that I'm going to explain and talk about here in a little bit about one of the ways that they have fundraised through Facebook. And it's just mind-blowing to think about how much money they make through Facebook. And it's incredible. 88% say that they're likely to give through Facebook fundraising tools in the future as well. So that's a huge number. What we're going to do now is we're going to start with first impressions. Everybody knows about first impressions and how important they are. I like to look at your social profiles almost like a house, right? So think about curb appeal. Think about, let's say you're looking at a house or a place to live, okay? So you have 3 seconds to make a first impression. 3, that's nothing, okay? What information are your visitors, which you hope will become followers, learn in those first 3 seconds of visiting your home? Your home meaning your profile and your social channels. Will the reader want to go inside, or will they hesitate after seeing all the peeling paint, the dead plants, or the gaping hole in the roof, only to move on? That's not what we want. So what does this mean? It means everything. So when someone arrives at your doorstep, your social channels, first impressions can cause people to either continue scrolling or to stop. Scroll stopping means people literally stop scrolling when they come across a picture, a post, a text, a video, a really funny meme, something that's just so interesting that it makes them stop scrolling on social media. And I know you guys do it every day because I do. The goal is for them to engage with that, whether it be liking, commenting, sharing. You want those folks to make some sort of interaction on your post so that your engagement goes up. The more engagement that you have, the more visibility you have. And it's like stroking Facebook, saying, okay, Facebook, we love Facebook and we're going to share more stuff on Facebook. So your post essentially continues to get higher and higher and higher in the news feed, the more engagement that you have. That's why a lot of the times you'll see, posts that have gone viral after, a couple of years, and it just kind of pops up randomly. Even if it's something that was posted 10 years ago, if people start posting on it more and more, it can bring that post from several years ago out of the dark, and it can become viral again. So we're going to do a little bit of housekeeping right now. So check out your social profiles. Which ones do you guys want to use? Which ones are you currently using? Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on telling you guys how to set up these networks. I'd rather teach you more about just the tools that you can use to make them work in your favor. So first things first, make sure that you're using your Facebook, your nonprofit as a business page, not like a personal page, because you can get in a lot of trouble for that. So if your Facebook page, your nonprofit is an actual Facebook business page, then you're good. You're golden. So select a username for your social page that's as close to the name of your nonprofit as possible. And I use Canines for Cops. They're one of my clients. And so with permission, of course, they've got some great fundraising tools that we've been doing for them that I think that will help you guys out tremendously. So as your cover photo and your profile photo, I would say for your profile photo, use your organization's logo. All right. So make sure that it fits neatly in the small square or circle rather, and still be recognizable. A lot of the times Facebook will cut off your logo. So I want to introduce you to a graphic design program here in a second that will literally change your life, and it's free. So we're going to next talk about your cover photo. So the cover photo is on Facebook. It's, of course, one of the first things that you see whenever you log on to a business's page. And so you want to use a cover photo or a cover video. I like to use videos because I'm a production company. But if you don't have a professional video or a pretty or a clean video, then use a pretty photo. Canva, which I'm about to go into big time, is a fantastic free website that you can literally just drag and drop your images and it'll create literally everything for you. So you don't have to go in and resize and upload and then, oh my gosh, it's cutting off my words. Because I've tried that already many times, and it makes you want to pull your hair out because you get so frustrated. So the pixels or the dimensions rather, for a Facebook cover photo is 315 by 851. But again, go to Canva and it'll do everything for you. So it just takes out all the guesswork and saves you time to actually do the things that you're really good at, like fundraising. So the next one is going to be your about section. So the about section is so important because this gives everybody information about what your nonprofit is, who is involved, what your mission is. It also talks about your address, your phone number, your contact information, your website, which is obviously, again, hugely important to know. And also Google grabs content in your about section, and that helps with your SEO and your rankings as well. So one of the things that you can also add for your about section is information. And so you can add like a little welcome note, like where it says, hi friends, and on the Canines for Cops about section, and you can kind of be a little bit more human, humanize the social experience. Conversational with people, because the last thing that they want to know, they're exchange conversations with. For me, that's just a huge turn off. Make sure that your nonprofit organization is categorized in the correct category of what kind of business you do. Once all of that information is updated, I want to introduce you to Canva. Okay, Canva is I love it. I'm obsessed with it. I use it every single day. I actually created this PowerPoint presentation through it. It's going to be your best friend, and of course it's free. So I'm not a graphic designer by trade. I just create really cool videos, but you can become a graphic designer and no one's going to know that Canva did this for you. So it's super user friendly, which to me is a huge bonus. It's free again, and it essentially allows you to create social media graphics, Instagram stories, presentations. You can create marketing material, again, Facebook cover photos, and it's just really neat, I'd say. So check that out, write that down so that you guys can go and, again, you'll be obsessed with it just like I am. Moving forward, content is king. So social media allows for the regular release quality content on a scale unlike anything that the world has ever seen, and it's for free. I mean, that's astounding to me. And every company knows that if you want to get your product or service out there, you need to go where the consumer is, and today's consumer is on social media. A lot of people say, oh my gosh, I have to post, 10 times a day. What am I supposed to post? For me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality, okay? You wanna keep your content fresh. You wanna keep it nice and clean. Going back to the analogy about a home, okay? This is gonna be your home base, and you want your home always to be clean and presentable and professional. And so high quality content makes people notice your brand, but consistency makes them remember it. Always remember that, okay? And this too, I can't stress this enough. Every post needs to be intentional. Don't post just to post, okay? If you do that, people will get tired of just your message. They can get confused, they can get annoyed. And then what does that mean? They don't want to have anything to do with you. We don't want that. So Facebook and Instagram are visual platforms, and ideally your images need to be creative and eye-catching and appropriately highlight the products, the services, and of course the messages that you wish to promote. Once your target audience lands on your profile, they have to be able to recognize your brand immediately. Like I was saying earlier, Johnson & Johnson, Susan B. Komen, when those brands come to mind, it's like I immediately think of the colors of those brands. And whenever someone lands on your page, again, you want them to immediately recognize it and feel at home, feel authentic. And that is so critical. I can't explain that enough. On the right-hand side of the screen, you're gonna see my Instagram feed, or I'm sorry, Canines for Cops Instagram feed. And one of the things that a lot of folks have said is, wow, that looks so clean. And that's the goal. Everything is so pretty, and it's color coordinated with their logo, and the content is just appealing overall. And that's what you want, because it's not all the same. And so whenever you look at the photos, it catches your eye and makes you stop. And you're like, what is that? I want to read more. So Facebook refers 29.4% of the traffic to donation pages on Giving Tuesday, which I found super interesting. More than 29% of mobile donation traffic on Giving Tuesday came from Facebook, which that's amazing. Here is another example, and this is actually my Instagram account, and content is king, but consistency is queen, I like to say. build your brand awareness visually. Everything, again, needs to be pretty, cohesive, and just eye-catching. And you don't have to have a professional photographer and videographer capture every single element of your everyday business life. I would say for the meat and potatoes of things, if you're really trying to go out with a bang for certain fundraising opportunities, testimonials are critical. Definitely get those filmed professionally, because sound is the heart of every story. And so you need professional audio from those people for testimonials, and just the storytelling strategy that can really, really be implemented in a testimonial is paramount. Moving on, whenever you post, whether it be Instagram or Facebook, don't be afraid to ask questions. Asking questions helps engage people, and that's, again, what you want. You're going to hear me say this 100 times more, I'm sure, before we're finished, but engagement is what brings your name and your brand to the top of the newsfeed, and that's what you want. Humanizing the social experience for your followers and your fans over time is undoubtedly going to generate loyalty. I mean, once we post a photo of, a canine for Canines for Cops, people just go crazy. They want to know the canine story. They want to know the handler story. I mean, and literally in a matter of probably an hour, the post has like 1,700 likes and a couple hundred comments, and it's like the news feed soaking, because it's going so quickly with comments and engagement. And so one of the reasons why it's doing that is because behind the scenes we have people commenting and responding to those comments, and so that's important. In your post, don't be afraid to ask questions, and of course, don't be afraid to ask people what they'd like to see, especially right now, because that'll help you leverage what kind of content to post in the long run. Quality, of course, is the best business plan. Although regular posting is the way to go, never prioritize quantity over quality. I can say that 100 times. It's like a realtor trying to sell a house. You could have, whether it be a $200,000 house or $1 million home, you have to have professional photos of a home, regardless of what cost it is. And I know a lot of the times when I was looking for a house, if the house didn't have professional photos on the site, I wasn't wanting to go and take the time to go look at it, no matter how pretty it was. So change it up, have a strategy also, because posting on social media can get extremely overwhelming if you don't have a plan in place. There's a bunch of scheduling softwares that I like to use that you guys can email me about if you have questions. But I want to tell you all the things that are free today. So if you want, have somebody on your team that schedules things out. You can use tools in Facebook in their new scheduling platform that allow you to schedule posts out months in advance. So you're not scrambling to figure out, oh my gosh, what am I going to post today? What message am I going to say? So everything that you do needs to be intentional. And when you take a couple hours a day, or even 5 hours one day out of the week to post for the next week or two, you're going to see a huge return, I can assure you. One of the things also is when you're making a post, tag your partners and local businesses. Everybody loves a shout out, right? I love being tagged on social media. I immediately share it. And it just adds to that engagement. So you have, the more people you tag, they're affiliated, of course, with whatever you're posting. Make sure first and foremost that they're affiliated. But if they are involved or affiliated with your mission, tag them, because chances are they're going to share it. And the more shares, the better. So here's an example from Jingle Bell Market. They are a local nonprofit as well. And we made a post asking for folks to nominate a nonprofit so that they could potentially be recognized and as basically given money to at the end of the year. Jingle Ball Market is amazing because they raise money for just local nonprofits here in our area. And so we like to ask folks to nominate a nonprofit. And so we did this post back in February, and I mean, I don't know exactly, 33 weeks ago. So I don't know exactly how many comments there were, but you can see Hope Mommies. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 just in this screen right here of this Hope Mommies nonprofit. And just because all of these people commented, you know, it would have, had we had an event this year, Hope Mommies would have been the organization, I'm sure, that would have won. And so that's an excellent way to really just leverage people here in this area to just tell you what they want. The last thing that you want is just a second guess. So actually talking to people is fantastic because they can tell you exactly what they want. Now, moving forward, we're going to talk about making it easy for people to donate. One of the cool things is, again, your cover photo. You can have information just like St. Jude's does. They have a fantastic call to action with their event in September. That's one of the first things that you look at whenever you lead on a Facebook page. And so everything is spelled out clearly and concisely in the cover photo. I mean, it is just right there, and you get that information. With Ronald McDonald House Charities, they are amazing, and they have had just a fantastic year with donations and fundraising, and their strategy and their marketing people are just incredible, and work very tirelessly to make all of this happen behind the scenes. But again, it's all about their strategy. Make it easy for people to donate. There's an option for you to have a donate button right below the cover photo. I recommend putting the donate button, just blast it so that people can easily click on it. And have a call to action on your cover photo as well, especially if you're having an event just like the St. Jude's. Put it right in center. Don't leave people guessing or searching your Facebook page or your website looking for information. You want to make sure that it's right there so that people can find it easily. Because if you leave them looking and searching for too long, they're not going to stay on your page. So we recently had a live stream. We hosted Ronald McDonald House Charities of Central Texas in our studio in downtown Bryan. And we partnered with 11 Media out of Austin to actually do the live stream. And we created, we filmed a couple videos for them before the fundraiser. And so they only had one live element from, or for their actual fundraiser for the Starlight Affair. And so we had about a 60-minute live stream fundraising event for the Starlight Affair, and they raised $200,000, you guys. I mean, after the event, our team and everybody else, we were just high-fiving each other, and just, it was incredible. And I say this because you guys, it can happen. I know that there's a lot of people just down about, you know, what's going on in the world, but I am a firm believer that everybody has a story. And I know that if it's told in a delicate and just a gentle and, you know, human effort, you can make such a huge impact. It just has to be told the right way. And I think that right now more than ever, your story can be told with the right strategy. My background is, of course, in storytelling. And so we use, you know, storytelling as just the foundation of everything that we do. whether it be social media, whether it be taking a photo. This photo right here on the left-hand side of this couple holding hands, I was at a real estate shoot in Gause, Texas, and I was actually photographing a house that was for sale, their home actually, and the couple had an amazing story. And, you know, I was there to photograph their house, of course, but in the, 45 minutes to an hour that I was there, I had to learn their story. And I could have just photographed their house and left, but they had told me that they had never had a photo taken of themselves. And I was just like, oh my gosh, So I took them out on their property and I literally photographed them for about 15 minutes. And the real estate agent sent them a couple canvas prints of some of the images that I took of them. And now they're going to have these images for them forever. And so learning people's stories to me is one of the most beautiful things, because I feel like God gave us all a purpose here in this earth. And I'm here to help tell people stories. And I know that for a fact. And so you can really just create such impact by telling stories and reaching the right client, the right demographic, the right donor, just by telling a story. So again, how do you connect with people? We connect through emotion, through storytelling. Be authentic, number one. When it comes to video, I don't know if it's because I've been in video for 12 plus years, but I can tell when someone's not being authentic. I can tell when someone is faking it, especially with testimonials from folks. You can tell when something is completely scripted. And so to me, non-scripted testimonials allow for the viewers to relate and to empathize and to connect emotionally on a whole level. One of the cool things too is using hashtags to create campaigns, whether it be a Testimonial Tuesday campaign, a Why I Give Wednesday campaign. I mean, the list goes on. Another cool thing is, I know most people go to work every day and they think that their life might be a little bit mundane, but is your work behind the scenes fun and exciting? I mean, think about it. Most people don't get to work where you work every single day, and it might sound mundane to you, but I'm sure there's something about what you do every day that most people would love to see. So have somebody capture it. Don't feel awkward or weird asking, one of your partners or somebody that's, with you for the day, hey, can you capture a photo of, this happening? Or can you make sure to capture this? Because as a photographer, it's hard to be in the photos because I'm always the one taking the photos. And so I always have to ask, hey, would you mind taking this behind the scenes photo so that I can post it on my Instagram, page or my Instagram story? Because it gives people a VIP pass into your day-to-day life at work. So if it's boring, turn water to wine and make it interesting. Another hashtag that I like to use is hashtag BTS, or behind the scenes. So it's always a fan favorite for sure. Moving on to video. Sound is the heart of every story. And I learned that while I was in college studying journalism at North Texas. And I mean, that couldn't have been more true for what I do on a daily basis. As visual species, humans find videos more engaging than ever. I mean, I know that I'm more inclined to click on a video than I am a photo. Video can capture attention and it can stir up emotions, hands down. The combination of visual content, authenticity, voice dialogue, and music and sound make video a uniquely powerful medium to communicate with donors and supporters. So more than 4 billion video views take place on Facebook every single day. That's insane. The video on the left is a video from Canines for Cops, and check out how many comments they have on this video. 34,000 comments. 453,000 shares, you guys. Insane. What they're doing, Canines for Cops, they work tirelessly to raise funds for canines, fully trained, so that law enforcement agencies and school districts across the world can essentially make the streets and schools safer. Their mission is fantastic. It's extraordinary, and people love the animals when they see them on Facebook and Instagram. I mean, they just go nuts. And so what they've actually done is pretty neat. They've incorporated some of their partners. So once a canine is given to a law enforcement agency, the canine is obviously not at the Canines for Cops headquarters every day. It's either in France, across the globe, or it's somewhere across the nation. But because of their relationships and their value of relationships with their handlers across the world, we're able to get content from them. And we ask on a weekly basis, hey, can you send me video of, you know, canine Aisha, or what about canine Rico? I heard that he had a drug bust the other day. Can you send me some information so that we can post on social media? Because it shows that they're making an impact every day, and it makes their nonprofit more valuable, so that people are learning that they're actually making a difference every single day. All right, some Facebook video tips. One thing that I learned many years ago is I used to just post links on Facebook. If someone would send me a cool YouTube video or something, I'd go and throw it on Facebook. Facebook doesn't like that. Facebook likes Facebook. And so for me, it's hard to measure analytics when you post a link. When you post your videos to Facebook, you have to post them natively. Well, what does that word mean, Nicole? It means that you have to take the MP4 file of your video and you have to upload that MP4 file to Facebook directly. So don't post links anymore, okay? It also allows you to really track your engagement, to track your video views, and keep really track of all of your insights. I mean, you can see who played your video for 3 seconds, who played your video the whole entire way through. And so keeping track of all of that information allows you to gauge and to measure what kind of content your fans like to see. So you guys can post more content that they like to see. And of course, Facebook's algorithm changes, I feel like, on a daily basis. So it's just crazy. But don't post third-party links anymore, video links rather, to Facebook. And also with the videos, keep it short and simple. I like to use the KISS method. Another thing that I learned in college many years ago. Keep your videos short, keep them just relevant, keep them effective, and keep them professional. Again, at the end of the day, only post content that you know jives with your brand. Don't post unprofessional stuff. A lot of the times I like to steer clear of political posts just because I've had folks, you know, unfollow or just rip apart posts and businesses. And I've even had some people say that their businesses were, you know, slandered on Google reviews because of a political post that they made, which is mind-blowing, but it's a very scary world that we live in when it comes to the internet. If a viewer watches a Facebook video for at least 3 seconds, it counts as a view, which a view is what you want, obviously. If viewers are watching for 10 seconds or more, it means that they're consuming your content. And also, if viewers watch only a portion of the total video or your ad, then there's an increase in your metrics, like a recall with brand awareness, or even a purchase intent, which again is what you want. So we're going to talk about hashtagging real quick. All right, are we good on time? Yeah, okay. I want to make sure that I'm respecting everybody's time here. Hashtagging 101. Okay, a lot of people are like, what in the world is a hashtag and how do I use it? I see a lot of people using them incorrectly. You can only use the pound sign and then a word. You can't put dashes, you can't put hyphens, apostrophes, exclamation points. It has to just be a word with the pound sign in the front of the word. Try not to make your hashtags like 700 words long. Keep them short and simple, guys. I'm using this photo just as an example, and you're probably going to be like, well, why is she showing me this? This video is of this photo is of me holding a Steadicam. It's a gimbal that I use for video a lot. And I tagged Canon, I tagged DJI, I use a Canon camera, so I tagged all of my equipment's brands. And guess what? They shared my post on their stories. What does that mean, Nicole? Well, my post got shared on Canon's website, which has over, has millions of people following them. So if you're doing something that involves a brand, or if, let's say you're out somewhere and you're using a particular something for an event, tag a business partner, tag, the Canon camera that you're using, put the hashtag and put Canon USA. And also tag the person who did your makeup that day. Who took the photo? Kathleen Dragna took the photo. So of course I'm gonna tag her. When it comes to hashtags, you have to have a strategy behind it, okay? And then also, a little question, I don't usually use pink in my presentations, but when you see the pink and the light pink, what brand comes to mind whenever you see this color palette? Just think for a couple seconds. I don't know if you guys can see the extremely light pink underneath the dark pink, but I did this intentionally just to see. Anyway, also the comments. It's important to comment again and to engage folks so that you can keep that momentum going. Extremely important. Leverage your stories in Facebook and Instagram. Okay, again, keep it short and simple. If you don't know what a story is, it's essentially a new way to share your adventures, your videos and photos. It's like a news feed, but one that relies on visual content rather than written information like texts and whatnot. And they'll only be available and viewable for 24 hours. So it's just a much more visual way of sharing and adding kind of a creative technique and sort of jazzing and bedazzling up your photos and videos. So I'm using Ronald McDonald House again as an example because for their live event that they recently had, the Starlight Affair, they went and posted this graphic right here in their stories. And I think that that is genius. It gives information, it gives direction, and it's clear and concise. Again, you have to spoon feed people information because if you leave them guessing, they're gonna get really annoyed and they're gonna get tired and they're gonna go away. So that's not what you want. Again, there's some cool features that you guys can use whenever you're using stories, and that's even, they have donate buttons that you can add. And in this first one right here, that's a Canines for Cops story that we recently did. And tag your business partners, tag the founder. I tagged Christy Schiller, who's the founder of Canines for Cops. Just make it engaging, make it active, and make it pretty. The second one, again, is the Starlight Affair. Don't be afraid to tell people to tap their screen. Okay, when you tap the screen of a story, it moves you on to the next story. So give people clear and concise directions because some people just don't know. And then the next one is create a poll. Creating polls is pretty important because it helps kind of leverage your engagement as well. And it shows you who's actually paying attention to your content. Partner with social influencers. Are there celebrities in your community? Are there people that have a high, following, a large following? partner with people that are like-minded to your organization and say, hey, we're doing this event. I would love it if you could, help us spread the word. The worst they can say is no. Big deal. Let's move on to the next, right? If you have relationships with people in the community, then don't be afraid to ask. And of course, designate a team member or hire a pro if it's a huge event and you have all hands on deck. Hire a pro to take photos of your behind the scenes or of your actual event. If you have a photographer for an event that you're doing, ask them to take a couple behind the scenes photos of your crew. I love doing that, and those photos go a long way, especially with what we do every day, because not a lot of people get to, go into a studio and see a green screen and pretend like they're Shel Winkley doing the weathercast. So, all right. Little recap here. At the end of the day, you want to inspire, you want to inform, entertain, interact, update, and just inspire folks. And so everybody has a story. I know that you guys all have one, and you just got to dig a little bit deeper and get a little creative to really just fine tune your story. Because at the end of the day, you can really make a difference with the way that it's told. And so I feel like we're all put on this earth to do just that, to make a difference. And so it just takes a community, effort. It takes the villagers in your community to all just band together. And, it's all about community over competition is my motto. And so if memes can spread like wildfire, not even 3 hours after it happens, so can our impact and our ability to affect change. And we can be the change that we want to see. So before leaving a place, ask yourself, did I use my influence to make an impact? So there we go. I hope that you guys had an awesome time. And I know that that was a lot of information, but I know that these are tools that can really help you guys in the long run and not just use on the 27th. So I hope you guys have questions. And if you have a question later on, feel free to email me. I've got my contact information in the bottom right-hand corner. But again, thank you so much. And are there any questions?
Okay. You just stay on.
Okay.
You can go to off your screen. We don't have any questions
Okay.
About any of your presentation, but one of the people wanted to know, they said, how did Ronald McDonald House raise the funds? Was there an auction, underwriting, pure donations? Just a quick response to that.
Mm-hmm. They implemented all forms of donations. They had marketing efforts for sponsors donating behind the scenes. They had live auction. The live auction was the only piece of information that they had, or I'm sorry, the only live element that they had during the live stream process.
Okay. And then a person said, could you show us what the thumbnail was for the video / the intro of it?
Of what?
I don't know. That was the question. It was from Tatiana Rivera. So if you can send me back another more information, but I thought maybe you would remember what that meant. So
Of a video.
Okay. So here are a couple questions that I have. When you say hashtag, what's the difference between using a pound and an @ ?
So a hashtag, look at a hashtag like you're compartmentalizing a bunch of information, right? A hashtag, if you click on it on social media, will take you to subject matter, right? So it takes you to everything that somebody hashtagged water to wine or, BB Gives 2020. If you guys use the BB Gives,
we are. But we use both of them, but primarily the @ BB Gives because we're trying to get that.
Sure. The @ sign tags a person or a place, right, or a business. And so you want to use the @ sign when you're tagging your business partners, and that'll actually tag an entity. So when you use the hashtag, it's essentially like a database of information. And so it allows, let's say I'm looking for a farmhouse, right? I use the pound sign and then farmhouse. You don't put a space in between the hashtag and the words. You put hashtag and then the next word is farmhouse, all together. If you click on that hashtag farmhouse on Instagram, it's going to pull up millions of photos that are hashtagged farmhouse. And so it essentially categorizes all of that information, the metadata, if you will, into a category so that it's easier to find. Yeah. So if you're using the BV Gives 2020 on the 27th, every post you post on social media, every picture, every video needs to have that hashtag so that it can all be compartmentalized and that it'll be easier for people to see all of the content that's being produced that day. It's really neat. So
one thing, for all of the nonprofits that are listening, on the Brazos Valley Gives website, under the nonprofit section, the nonprofit resources, there is a link to Canva there. And it's important for you to know that Canva has a special feature for nonprofits, and it's better than just your regular free Canva. Okay, so you want to click the link on the Brazos Valley Gives. That will take you to the nonprofit free section, which is above and beyond what just a typical free Canva subscription will give you.
it's amazing. Do you use it?
Yeah, I've used it.
It is a game changer for sure.
It's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. Let me see if there are any other questions. Oh, she said the canine video that got 34,000 views.
Oh, yes. What was she asking about it?
Remember, it was the thumbnail for the video.
If you go to YouTube and Google either Canines for Cops, I can only imagine. That video specifically was a canine handler named Jason Hepler with Canine Athos, Athos, and Canines for Cops posted that on their YouTube channel. So if you just Google Canines for Cops on YouTube, Canines for Cops, then you can go search through their videos, or you can email me and I'll send you the link. But yeah, it's amazing to see that a video like that could go viral so quickly.
And so one more thing, Brazos Valley Gives is all about providing the nonprofits with the giving platform that they can utilize to really take a fundraising effort above and beyond. Okay, what should a nonprofit be doing to amplify their social media presence on Facebook or Instagram, and how can they social media and sharing, etc. Tell them the link beyond all that.
Sure. I would have a brainstorming session with your team. Okay, you have, what is it? We have 26 days until the event. So you have some time to come up with some neat content. Ask some of your donors if they can film a testimonial with their cell phone. Okay, tell them how to fit. Don't, make sure that they're holding their phone correctly, or they're not covering the microphone with their hand, that they're in a nice they have a nice background type of thing. Ask them, give them a list of questions, give them 5 questions, and just say, hey, I would love it if you could film this testimonial for me. And it doesn't have to be scripted. And just, if you could summarize these 3 questions about how my nonprofit affected you, how we impacted you, what it means that we are here in the Brazos Valley, and what would you do if we weren't there to help? So someone can give you 5 sentences and literally just film themselves talking on a cell phone, and you can upload all of that content on a weekly basis. Use that hashtag Brazos Valley Gives 2020 or BV Gives 2020. And y'all need to be promoting from starting like tomorrow. Y'all need to be promoting content and letting your followers know, hey, we are having this huge event and we are just so excited and we want your help. Be honest with people and say, look, we have been impacted by COVID just like everyone has. But if we don't get funding, then we're not going to be able to perform or operate, or we're not going to be able to provide food for these children in Bryan. You have to be delicate about asking and not be annoying about it, okay? People don't need to know if your mortgage is not being paid. That's none of their business, okay? What people need to know is that you guys are a gem in this community, and you need to let people know if you guys aren't here anymore, then your services aren't going to be available anymore. And so you have to create this sense of urgency when it comes to telling your story, especially right now, but it has to be done delicately so that it doesn't seem forced or like you're whining about it. Does that make sense?
That is a great entree. That is great,
Yeah.
because the need has never been greater in our nonprofit community. Is expecting that Brazos Valley community to come, be generous this month.
Yeah.
How does many of our nonprofits are restricted from using photos, images because of confidential nature of children, individuals' names, etc. It's easy sometimes to do an innate object like, or a dog, or etc.
Sure.
What is your recommendation on a nonprofit? How can they be appealing and be real, given the restrictions that they may have in telling that story?
Sure. I feel like there's a lot of ways. I always think with video, if you have a budget to get something professionally done, then that's fantastic. Find a video production company that can help you, partner with you, tell them your situation. And there's a lot of ways to either, let's say we're doing a video, a testimonial or something, or like an hour story video about the whole company that involves someone who doesn't want their identity revealed. There's a way to film people like a silhouette that doesn't show their identity. You can change their voice. You can, without it looking cheesy. Again, you have to find the right video production company to do it. Otherwise, your entire message will just be, it'll come across cheesy. So you can film people in a way that doesn't show their face. If, they don't mind having their voice filmed, you can tell the story in a way that doesn't ever show their face. It just shows their hands, or, you can interview people in the court system, or you can interview volunteers that have worked directly with this person, and they can kind of tell their story from, a different perspective as well. I've also seen where people just record the audio, and then they put their like testimonial as like not a picture, but their written testimonial. Imagine hearing a voice like what you would on the radio, something similar to that with some pretty imagery, whether that be folks working behind the scenes, volunteers, that sort of thing. When it comes to stuff that is hard to film because of those certain restrictions, there has to be a strategy behind the way that you want that story to be told. So.
Okay. And I think we have this one last question before we head on to freedom. Thanks to Aaron Ferris, because I think this is a great way to kind of sum it up. You just now suggested having supporters film testimonials with their phones, but earlier you talked about the importance of having testimonials filmed with professional audio, etc. I assume you're saying that if we have to do phone testimonials rather than professional videos, that's better than nothing at all.
Exactly. Yes, absolutely. And I say that because not everybody has money to go and do a professional video. But I always say professional video comes across better because obviously I work with video. But if it's done professionally, then it comes across as your brand being more professional. But if you can have someone film a testimonial from their phone and it doesn't sound terrible, and it looks appealing, then I think that there's a raw, organic factor about that. And it doesn't have to be professional in that regard. And of course, there's, 26 days before the event starts. So if there was more time, I would say definitely, for next year's budget, maybe put some cushion in there for some, professional testimonials or something like that. But if people are going to be talking and just giving a testimony, they can certainly do it from their cell phone, given the time constraint right now. And then you can always follow it up down the road and say, hey, I've actually hired a production company to come out. Would you please, give that amazing testimony one more time? And then after they're done giving the testimony, send them a gift card, send them a Starbucks gift card or a, downtown and corked wine gift card or something like that, a Cafe Capri gift card. Everybody likes free food.
All right.
And wine.
Thank you. That was fabulous.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So if you can mute for a minute. Okay, so now many thanks as well to our Water and Wine production team here. It was great to have you. I'm going to share all of the glorious little chats and all. She doesn't know everything that I've been reading over here, but lots of great comments about the excellent content and the awesome presentation and the ideas. One more thing I may share, and that is, remember each one of you probably about 2 weeks ago had a chance to do a video yourself and send it to KBTX. Now granted, that was a video without any type of audio, but you can utilize that with some type of a voiceover or music to post to kind of tell your story, because that's what you were doing through that KBTX video as well. So without further ado, before I introduce Frito from Bryan Broadcasting, just one more reminder. Remember that we have a $1,000 incentive prize that's underway now for nonprofits that raise a minimum of $3,000 in matching funds. Those nonprofits that do that and have a commitment from a donor or a business of at least $3,000 in matching funds, they will go into a drawing at the end for a $1,000 bonus prize. And you have to have those commitments from your donors and be entered on your giving profile by noon on Friday, October the 16th. So you got plenty of time. I just don't want to let that lapse. So without further ado, Frito, I'm going to hand it to you. And so thanks so much for bringing with us.
Oh, thank y'all so much. And thanks to all of y'all for sticking around. We wanted to spend a little time talking about something that we did last year that we're also going to be doing again this year. And before I get too much into it, I do want to say I'm filling in today, so bear with me. Those of you who have worked with us before know Katie Dempsey is also on the radio show with me. She's the one that really came to the table and really brainstormed this idea, and I think turned it into something really special. And if you do follow the radio show, you know that she is she's pregnant. So there's doctor's appointments and a few other things, but she wanted to send her love and also tell how much she's looking forward to hearing some of your stories this year. Now, let me share the screen and we'll get started. And this will not take very long, because I know that you probably want to get to the rest of your afternoon. But what we have done last year and what we are going to be doing again this year is giving you guys an advantage to really capitalize on something that keeps getting hammered home in some of these web conferences and also a lot of the messaging, and that is the power of telling your story and how much of a difference that can make in your organization with fundraising and awareness and everything else, especially right now in a time where cutting through and connecting with the audience is that much more important. I could go into all the same stuff I know you guys have heard before, and I'm not going to beat it to death, but I think we all know what the situation is for a lot of us, and a lot of the situation is for the donor base as well, with the 2020 that we have had. So what we wanted to do was do something unique for you guys, because again, this is a group of 136 different organizations that have 136 different stories and 136 different ways that people can help be a part of what you guys do. And we didn't want to combine everybody. We had this really unique opportunity by doing radio that we realized that we could take a whole day and tell each and every one of your stories. In this instance, it will be all 136 of you that we are going to feature on Candy 95 individually, and hopefully, if we all can do this correctly, in your own voice and in your own words. So what I want to do is I'll fly through some of this, the basics here. If you're not familiar with Bryan Broadcasting, we're a company in town that has a lot of radio stations, a lot of radio shows, a lot of magazines and websites. We're also the last locally owned media in Bryan College Station. That matters to us because we've really banked our existence on community service and really doing everything we can to be a part of Bryan College Station, the surrounding areas. We've got a lot of awards for it over the years. And if you've worked with us in the past, you know that, I mean, there's a lot of people we've talked to that I know are on this particular chat that we've worked with in the past. And it's really maybe the biggest thing that sets us apart is how much we try to give back to the community, just because we're fortunate enough to have that ability to do so. We don't have to answer to anyone else. If we want to do an entire day like we're going to do, talking about each and every one of you, then we can do it. Obviously, the thing that I'm most known for is my association with Candy 95 and the show I do with Katie, but we will also be featuring the overall day on WTAW, Peace 107, Maverick 100.9, Willie 97.7, Willie 1550, The Zone, Gospel 97.3, La Jefa 102.7, as well as BrazosLife.com, and I believe we have some stuff going in our magazines as well. So we're going to be trying to get your messages out there as much as we can. However, on Candy 95, we are going to focus every second of that day during this event to talking about your message and your story and what makes you special. And again, the key here is we are going to try to do it in your voice, just you getting a 2-minute pitch to the entire Candy 95 listener base. So here's what we're going to do. Every group is going to receive this full feature. The idea is you will make a 2-minute pitch telling your story in your voice to the Candy 95 audience and what makes you special, what drives you to do this work, and why people should get involved with you on this incredible day. These will all air on the day of the event, from when we get on the air early in the morning until the event concludes. This will be your chance to really do something that Nicole has talked about and some other people have as well, and express your passion for what you do. I know a lot of people can get bogged down in stats and the minutia of data and everything else like that. What is going to make this stand out is you telling what makes you passionate about your work. You work hard to do this stuff. And we know because we talk to a lot of you guys every single day. And what keeps you in it? What's bringing you to the table every single day? You know, what's driving you to keep this work going? What is the need? Why does this need hit home with you so much? These are going to be the things that are going to connect with the audience. And we believe we have found a system that makes this very easy to accomplish. So once you send us the material that I'll lay out, we'll take care of the rest. And really, again, all we want you to do is focus on the basics of what makes you passionate about what you're doing. This is about you. This is about what you are doing and what why you are involved with this organization. The great thing about this is we're going to take care of all the auxiliary stuff. We'll tell people how to donate. We'll tell people how to volunteer. We want you to tell people why they need to get involved with your organization. We'll basically, going into and coming out of each one of these elements, we'll talk about your individual links, we'll talk about Brazos Valley Gibbs, and we'll talk about some other information too. But your job is to really talk about the why. Focus on what your group does and why it's critical to the community. Just talk about, again, what makes you passionate, what the need is, why that need is so important. And then what you're going to do once you've kind of brainstormed this is you're going to write about a 2-minute script with the whys. And it's just the stuff I've been talking about. Why we do what we do, why the need is so important, why the community should get involved. Aim for about 2 minutes. Read it through a couple of times, time it, and that'll get you comfortable with the material. If you want to ad lib around a loose set of bullet points, that's fine too. Around 2 minutes is what you're going to aim for, though, and we're going to use all of it, all of the 2 minutes, all about you and your organization. Now, once you have this script, record it on your iPhone's voice recorder app. Kind of like Nicole mentioned, having a phone the way we all do now is a great tool. It works exactly like having a microphone and being in a studio. We get incredible audio off of this. We had a great success with it last time. The response is fantastic. So all you need to do is use your iPhone's voice recorder app. It doesn't have to be perfect. We know it's difficult to nail these on one take. We never nail anything on one take. So all you need to do is just go through it. If you need to stop, start over, do it. That's fine. If you make mistakes, leave them in. Just record it on one file, even if you need to read through a couple of times. We will edit everything and make you sound like you nailed it on your very first take. That's what we're going to bring to the table. Also passion, like Nicole mentioned, find someone who is passionate about your cause and can really sell this thing, like someone that's very personal to in your organization. If they can voice it or write it and voice it, it's going to stand out and it's going to make an impact. So find the person who you want to be your face, whoever that may be, and have them do the recording on this. Once it's done, all you need to do is email the finished product to nick@bryanbroadcasting.com and we will take care of the rest. Now, if you've got technical questions at Android, don't worry. There's a full list of instructions that's going to be emailed to you soon, and we're going to take some questions and also give you some places to reach out if you have some things that you want us to resolve for you. The deadline for this is October 16th, giving you 2 whole weeks. 2 whole weeks, and like we said, if you can put 2 minutes on tape, we will turn over the radio station to you for 2 minutes, every single organization. Option B, just in case that doesn't work. You can set up a phone call or a Skype session and we will tape you ourselves and then edit your 2-minute package. To do that, all you need to do is email Katie directly, Katie@bryanbroadcasting.com. She will get in touch with you and we'll make it happen. Now, the deadline to make an appointment is October 15th, so 1 day before turn-in. Option C, for those of you who did this last year, if you already submitted a package and you're like, you know what, that was awesome, we like it, we want to run it again, that's fantastic. We still have all of your material, and if you want to reuse it, just let Nick know by emailing nick@bryanbroadcasting.com and he'll take care of the rest. Deadline for that, again, October the 16th. If you can't submit anything, that's fine too. We're going to go to your website, we're going to pull information from it, and we're going to make sure that you are not left out. Every single one of you guys is going to be featured on the radio station, individually, every one, because you work too hard for us to not do that. And it's a lot of work for us to put it together, but this is one of the ways we want to give back to an incredible thing that everyone is doing out there individually and also as a group for the events. It's really something special. We want to turn the spotlight on you guys. I would not recommend letting us go to your website and picking exactly what we want to say. Not because you don't have good stuff on your website, you probably do, but again, your voice and your passion for what you do is what's going to connect with our audience. That's what's going to get people to stop and take note of what you're saying and want to be a part of what you're doing. Now, we get that, things happen. People get busy, and that's okay. But we're not going to let anyone get left out at all, period. And we are going to highlight every single nonprofit involved with this event. To the extent that you guys can email in your material, that'll definitely help us tell the best story. But your stories deserve to be told, and they're going to be told. And I should also mention, just because we were talking about, we want to share the free stuff. This is free. This is just something that we have turned over and said, look, take over the radio station. We want to spend all day talking about this event. So whatever you send us, there is no charge to your organization whatsoever. There's no fees. There's no nothing. We'll deal with your production free. We'll deal with airing it free, 100% free, just to hopefully get some people in the audience in touch with you guys and get them to contribute either financially or with their time. So those are the basics. Now, like we said, this is really Katie's brainchild, and she does wish she could be here, and she's really looking forward to hearing from a lot of you guys and hearing your stories. So if you have questions, she is the person to ask, because she has all of the answers even before I do for a lot of this stuff. Katie at brianbroadcasting.com is the easiest way to get in touch with her, and she's really pretty rapid with her response. And if you get an email super early in the morning, that's why. She gets to them fast. And then if there's something I can help you with as well, anytime, day or night, you guys want to reach out. I do really legitimately always love hearing from you guys. Tucker at brianbroadcasting.com. And also, again, even after this event, if there's anything we can do to help as a broadcast community for you guys. We don't necessarily think of all the answers first. Occasionally, you guys have some ideas that are better than anything we could have thought about. If we can help you in any way make it through this year, please, please, please email us, call us, let us get behind you guys. We want to get through this together. We want to support you guys as you're out there supporting all of us. And believe us, we all see what you guys are doing out there, and it touches my heart every day. Thank you. And again, email the material by October the 16th if you need an appointment, October the 15th, and any questions you have, email them to us and we'll get an answer. Now, we obviously have time for some more questions if there are any. I don't have the queue in front of me. I'll go ahead and stop sharing so we can get back to that. Patricia, if you have anything that I need to address, just let me know. Otherwise, I
don't see any questions, but you did an awesome job in just pointing everything out. It's very deliberate and very succinct. And I will be sending out a note to all of the nonprofits, kind of with ditto information, just to get this out in front of everyone. And then they can go back and listen to your video as well, Frito. But our heart is your heart, because we're very blessed to live in this wonderful Brazos Valley community, and we're all in this together as nonprofits and as a media partner and with a generous community. We couldn't do this without you, and thank you from our grateful hearts, because you're there for us day in and day out. You are our voice, the voice of many nonprofits throughout the year, and we are just very grateful for everything that you do on our behalf as well. So I think I've had one more little note. Thanks so much. Lots of blessings. Thank you. Awesome. Well done. And just as a point of confirmation, both of the presentations were recorded, and you will be able to share them, and they'll be posted right after this webinar as well. So Frito, if you can send me your PDF just to make sure I have the most recent one. But everyone, happy hump day. And tomorrow, let's give. Tomorrow is the first day of an awesome month of giving here in the Brazos Valley as we kick off early giving for the month of October. And then we're going to culminate it on the 27th with an extravaganza beyond compare. So let's hit it out of the park. We're all there for you, and y'all take care. Bye-bye. Thank you.